Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. It's a day game, raining outside. The roof is closed here at Miller Park, and it's the rubber game. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Last night, a thrilling win for the Cardinals. Everything came together. Defense, the standout at third base, Jed Jerko. How about the pitching? Luke Weaver, the starter, goes deep in the game, picks up a win. Trevor Rosenthal closes the door. And the offense, Yadier Molina with a couple of home runs and a double. And Colton Wong late with a double. That would score two. He'll bat leadoff today. And with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. Jim Hayes is here as well. Matt Garza, veteran for the Milwaukee Brewers, gets the start today. And for the Cardinals, it's Michael Wacha. Wacha's been really good here lately.
Yeah, his last 5 starts have been amazing. And you see here right with the video, the fastball dominance over certain teams, especially the Brewers, allow you to throw the breaking ball and the changeup. You can see his last 5 starts right there. One more plus, he's 4-0 this year in day games, so something to look forward to today.
Michael Wacha, Matt Garza, Brewers, Cardinals, Wong in the top spot. Baseball is coming up. Just about set to go for baseball here in Milwaukee. The Cardinals leadoff man today. Even with Carpenter in the lineup, it's Kolten Wong. And why not? Look at what he's done against the Milwaukee Brewers. Arcia in the driver's seat. 12 games. That was his double last night that scored 2. An average of 429. He's driven in 11. Wong on the season, all told, has driven in 23. 11 of those against Milwaukee. Garza, Waka, Milwaukee, St. Louis. First pitch, starting lineups, next on Fox Sports Midwest. Light, famous among friends. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting, full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. Well, the roof is closed, but the paneling outside left center and right center, the wall here at Miller Park, that is open. When the roof is closed, Milwaukee 11-14 this year, and 6 games above 500 when it's open. For what it's worth, to look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for Matt Garza. This year, 4-5. He's been injured a little bit. This being start number 16 on the year for Garza. A 3.83 ERA.
It's funny you talk about those windows out there being open and the roof being closed. There's days when the panels are open and the roof is closed. For some reason, the ball sucks out of the ballpark. And then there's other days when it's windy that the wind can actually blow in and kill the ball up in the air, and you can feel it at your back. And when I played here, I remember going to tell Ryan Braun, because he was the guy, hey, you need to get those panels closed, because one, the wind's hitting me in the back, so that means the ball's not carrying. I'm getting cold out here.
And he had the power to do that.
He did.
Here's Kolten Wong. Wong has batted leadoff 8 times this year, and all those games have been wins for the Cardinals. They've scored 55 runs in those 8 games, and he's been a big part of it. He's 3 for 9 in this series. A couple of RBIs and the double that he hit midway last night.
You know, we can't say enough about his approach that he has changed this year. Stop trying to go deep. It's hard to look up there and see only 1 home run, but It's just one of those things that you have to learn how to be a hitter first. The power will come. He's obviously got power, but I am so impressed at what he's done to try and change his plate appearances each and every day and really battle and keep away from strikeouts.
Big breaking ball. You can understand why Mike Matheny would want him at the top of the lineup. The numbers don't lie. Against Milwaukee this year, .429 the average, 11 RBIs, 11 of the 23 that he's driven in. Here's a 1-2. The check swing, and he went. Says Vic Carapazza, the third base umpire, and that's how we start this afternoon with a strikeout. The defense behind Matt Garza: Thames, Broxton, Santana in the outfield, Shaw, Arcia, Perez, and Aguiar at first base. Jet Bandy is behind the plate. A career .400 hitter at Miller Park is Tommy Pham. He's hit in 9 of his last 10 games, and coming off the best month he's ever had as a pro. And a pitch that's in.
And we saw this last night. It looks like they're going to try and keep pitching Tommy inside, try to speed him up so they can use the breaking ball away, because right now, the way he's been swinging the bat, they're going to have to figure something out to try to get him out.
Breaking pitch, drops in for a strike, and it's 1-1. Pham in July led the team in batting average, .344, slugging percentage at 5 home runs, 6 doubles, did a little bit of everything. Well, Garza has been on the disabled list twice this year. They've been trying to keep him healthy. He's been on the DL 5 times since 2015. When right, good stuff.
He does have really good stuff. You see the good breaking ball here, a little bit of the slider that he threw earlier, and he's got a decent fastball, and he hits his location, so he's always a force to be reckoned with when he's out on the mound.
The 2-2 pitch. And that should drop. It will. It's a base hit for Tommy Pham. What's interesting about Garza, Jimmy, is that he's getting 10% of his strikeouts on fastballs. That's the 8th lowest in Major League Baseball. So if he's getting 2 strikes on you, many times he's going soft.
Yeah, but you see right there, I'm pretty sure that even that pitch right there is either trying to speed Tommy up or get him to chase so he can go back to the breaking ball. So keep an eye on if that's the program for him today, where he's going to try and challenge guys in to get them to think fastball in, and like you said, get the strikeout with the breaking ball.
Carpenter, a late scratch prior to game 2 last night. 0 for 2 with a pair of walks in the series. Hitting .357 this year against the Brewers. Pick off and back in safely. Pham. They've got 2 catchers that really can throw well, and Bandy gets the start today. Walks a part of the game for Matt Carpenter. He's drawn 11 of those against Milwaukee. That's a team high. But it's become the age-old question, if you will, here the last couple of years. Can Carpenter hit outside of the leadoff spot? Today it's Wong. He drops down to 3rd. It's the 44th time that he's been in the 3rd position in the Cardinal lineup.
It's the most bizarre bunch of facts that I've seen, I think, in my life as far as baseball goes, is what he does in the leadoff spot and what he does in every other spot in the order. I mean, I see sometimes, you know, if you're in the 2-hole and it doesn't work, or just not used to getting, either not a fastball hitter or whatever, but it's either leadoff spot or nothing.
Here's the 0-1. Tied him up, and it's 0-2. The numbers are just glaring when you look at Matt Carpenter as a leadoff man. He's had 533 games as a leadoff hitter. His average .295. The Cardinals record 60 games above 500. And this year, the Cardinals are right around 500 when he bats leadoff. but his average at 299. Anywhere else in the lineup, it's near 200. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Here's the 0-2. Taken high.
I'm wondering if he feels like he really has to drive the ball and kind of comes out of his own, hitting lower in the lineup, especially third. You got to be the guy, get more guys in scoring position. Obviously, when you're the leadoff hitter, your first at bat, you can be a little bit more selfish. You can just have your at bat for yourself and really just work on getting ready for your day, taking pitches, doing whatever you need to do to get on base. Maybe the mentality is I got to do a little bit more when I'm in the 3-hole.
A couple of years ago against the Dodgers in postseason play, had a great run of power, and the idea was, well, he could be a power hitter if he wants to be, and maybe sacrifice the walks and strikeouts for that power. And I think that's what you're talking about, the mentality of a leadoff guy to get on, go deep into counts, draw walks, as opposed to when you're a number 3 hitter, you're thinking about hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
I think it's just enough to be mental, where you're just maybe swinging a little bit harder, coming out of your shoes a little bit more, swinging at pitches you wouldn't swing at. It can definitely throw you off your game.
The check on Tommy Pham, 14 stolen bases this year. He was caught stealing for the 5th time last night. A shift on the right side of the infield. Outfield is straight away. And the 1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Brewers starting play 2.5 games back of Chicago. The Cubs lost last night. And the Cardinals are 4.5 out of first and just 2 back of Milwaukee. And it's another chance to get to 500. They're 53 and 54. This will be the 6th time in the last 2 months that Mike Matheny's club is trying to get to 500. Break Council and the Brewers enjoyed a nice lead at the All-Star break. That has vanished. Carpenter with a fly ball out to deep right. Santana backing up, makes the catch. And Pham back to the bag at first base. Brings in Jed Jerko, who is 2 hits shy of 500 for his career. Leads the club in RBIs, tied for first in homers, second in extra base hits. But just 1 for 9 in this series. Three of his 14 home runs this year against the Brewers. So since the All-Star break, the Cubs 10 games above 500. The Cardinals a game above. The Pirates won a bunch in a row. Now they've struggled. They're back to 500 since the break. The Brewers have struggled. Reds are 5 and 14. And the 1-0 pitch to Jed Jerko. Curveball drops in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt Garza has made 8 starts, including today, against the Cardinals. At Busch, he struggled. Away, he's been very good. Tailing near the line, Santana with room and makes the catch. The Cardinals strand a runner, and Michael Wacha to the mound when we come back. Jimmy, you talked about it in the open, but everything for Wacha seems to be sharper here in the last 4 to 6 weeks.
He's been doing a really good job, especially his last 6 starts. And like I said, he's 4-0 this year in day games. It's interesting if you look at that first statistic, the changeup, how much less he's throwing that split-fingered slash changeup than when he first came up. Really been working on the breaking ball, a little bit of the cutter, and the changeup has kind of disappeared a little bit. So I don't know if that's something he's been conscious of or if that's something he's working on, but knowing all along that that is a secret weapon that he has that he can pull out at any time.
It's the first time that Eric Thames has batted leadoff for Milwaukee. He's 2 for 6 in the series, 3 walks and a home run. It's odd seeing this guy batting leadoff.
It's a little unusual, this lineup that they're going with today, but nonetheless, still first 5 or 6 guys got some good numbers, so they can kind of move people around and still have a pretty good top of the order.
Here's a 1-1.
And that's without Ryan Braun.
That's right. Not in the lineup. Jesus Aguilar batting third. There's that changeup. %80 of major league starters, 90% in the Central, are right-handed pitching, starting. And so one of the ideas for the Brewers was to go out this offseason, acquire left-handed bats. Shaw, Thames.
You got to give them a lot of credit for taking a chance on Eric Thames because he just came out of nowhere. I know he had good numbers in Korea, but you know this, everyone knows this. It's not the same as the major leagues here in America. I don't care if you're in Japan, which has got great baseball. You go to Venezuela in the winter and play against guys that are here. It's just not the same. So a lot of teams are afraid to take chances on guys that have big years somewhere else. Give the Brewers a lot of credit. Take a chance on this guy.
A streaky home run hitter this year. Very poor numbers with runners in scoring position. Maybe another reason why he moves up. He walks a lot. This time he strikes out. Cardinals defensively around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Martinez, Pham, Piscotty in the outfield. Jerko, Garcia, Wong, Carpenter on the infield. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Santana 1 for 6 in the series, and that catches Molina square on the mask.
Oh, I've got him 2 spots.
Yep, sure did. He shook up a little bit.
You know, going back to that, but going back to Mike Matheny's career, and one of the reasons why he retired was the concussion syndrome. And I remember him talking about the doctor telling him every time you take a foul tip off the mask, you're getting a mini concussion, and those things add up over time. And Mike was talking about more privately than publicly that he remembers going through spells and where he was having trouble seeing the ball at the plate and things were happening really fast. And he started to think back about how many times he had, you know, at that point where he had gotten hit in the head from a foul tip more than actually once. And you get it a couple times a game. And so he's starting to see what they were trying to explain to him about how even those little jolts in the face can add up. I think that we're going to see later on down the line guys in baseball having a little bit of CTE, and kind of it's going to open up some eyes for the rest of the world, because even though it's not a contact sport, the diving and the hits in the head and the guys sliding into each other in the past, and like especially the catcher, takes a lot of toll on your body.
The pitch after the foul ball, watch Molina even, we'll show it here momentarily, but he even flinched on the next pitch. You hardly ever see him do that. The 2-2.
Takes you a little time to get your wits back too.
Yeah, watch here.
Yeah, and that's Actually, that's a really bad habit that you don't want to get into, because what he's doing is he's taking all of his protective gear and turning it to the side and leaving his arms and wrists open. Oof.
There are a couple of pitches there that were borderline, and Molina, I think, is still a little bit shook up. Slow to get that ball punched over. You know, he may have caught that on the chest or the clavicle bone on that foul ball.
And that just caught him up in the hand area and the palm. I mean, I think if I'm in that dugout right now, I'm going out there to see if he's okay.
No question. Here's another look at that foul ball.
That ball actually might have got underneath his mask. Yeah, he's not doing so good. Yeah, the ball hit him in the clavicle and up underneath the mask a little bit.
Walker will throw a pitch to him. He says he's all right. He's going to stay in the game. So the 1-out walk to Santana. Jesus Aguilar with a pinch hit home run, 8th inning last night, 2-run shot. Mentioned this guy has tremendous power, picked up from Cleveland off of waivers. Knowing that Molina is a little banged up right now, you wonder if Craig Counsell says, let's test him. Santana with 9 steals. That home run by Aguilar was his first since July 7th, and he has 10 this year. Not running, and the pitch is taken for a strike. But lost in the at bat with Santana, some borderline pitches that did not go the way of Michael Wacha. I think Yadi's questioning that too. Lame to pull on the infield. No balls and 2 strikes. Watch Yadi here. Yep. Here's the 0-2. Inside corner, struck him out. Enrico Palazzo behind home plate, punching him out. Get him. Ah!
Well, it's funny you say that, because I think strike 1 was so nonchalant that the catcher and the hitter turned around to ask if that was strike 1 or not. And then so right there he wanted everyone to know it was strike 3. I like it though, Danny. I like it. Keep people on their toes.
It cracks me up. Here's Travis Shaw. The pitch taken high. He's batting .288 with 24 home runs, and he's driven in 74. Hitless though in this series, 4 strikeouts and a walk. Our Toyota keys to the game. Michael Wacha would love improvement on the road. ERA over 5, just 1 win and 7 starts away from Busch. Ball and 1 strike, 2 outs and a runner at first. Shaw ranks 7th with 50 extra base hits. It's been a great pickup. And he was one of 4 that came over from Boston in a trade this offseason. Up the middle and a base hit into center field.
You see Michael Wacha get that ball off the head of the pitcher last week has gotten a lot of people's attention, and that is nothing to play with. And you can see the pitchers a couple times that flinched this week, and not a fun fact right there.
Here's Perez. And a soft liner on a hop to Carpenter. Steps on the bag. Brewers strand 2. Yachty says he's all right. No score after 1. Coffee, fountain, frozen drinks, any size drink, 50 cents the next day at On the Run. So when the Redbirds score 6, keep the celebration going and stop by On the Run tomorrow for a thirst-quenching win. You earned it. Yachty's had a good series, 4 for 8, a couple of home runs, a double. He's driven in 3, 2 runs scored. And against the Brewers, a .341 average this year. Jose Martinez on deck, and then Steven Piscotty. Last night, first one opposite way, solo shot. This is after a double early in the game, and then this one, no doubter to left. He's up to 12 home runs. Ground ball that's hit to second. Handled by Perez for the out. This young man has just hit, Jimmy. I mean, we saw him at the end of last year. He's now played in 70 major league games, and he's a .307 hitter. And this year, .292. And a terrific spring. Martinez's start last night went 1 for 4. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's a 1-1. In the air. Deep right center. Broxton back at the wall. Leaps in. He got it. Takes a home run away from Martinez.
It's a nice catch right there, but as soon as he hit that ball, I knew he just missed it, and he just missed it in that ball a long, long way, the opposite way. Nice play by Broxton.
Here's Piscotty. And Steven on the first pitch. Hits it a mile high into right field. Santana makes the catch. And the Cardinals go in order. Midway through 2, and there's no score. Four strikeouts, so he sits today. More on that. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Yeah, Paul is putting together quite a rookie season. He's received wide praise for not only what he's doing on the field, but also his even keel approach to the ups and downs of baseball. I wish I could bottle it and teach it, is what Mike Matheny told me about it. DeYoung is carrying an 0 for 14. Matheny has given him a day. Not that Paul is overthinking any of it. DeYoung told me half the battle is against yourself, really. You can't be unsure. You have to be confident in your ability and preparation. And Dan, as for his little offensive dry spell, DeYoung told me, I'll take today to reflect and move on tomorrow. What happened yesterday doesn't matter. Good
Jimmy,
approach.
Yeah, you've got the feel that he's very calm and even keel, even when he was having great success and some of the great highs that he's had here in the first half.
Same guy. When you interview him after he could go 3 for 4 with a homer and 4 RBIs, or if he goes 0 for 4, same guy. And that's what they talk about, even keel approach. You know, it's such a long season and there's so many ups and downs. You can't live and die by every one of them, Dan.
All right, Jimmy, thanks. Deion Broxton at the plate, and the 2-1 pitch. Broxton recalled Tuesday from AAA Colorado Springs. Did .385 in 7 games down there. And a grounder that's pulled foul. The ball girl with a nice play. You have to get up out of the chair, range to your left, soft hands, make the play.
They're rotating him in and out.
Yep.
Don't do the job one night, you're out.
You're gone.
Send somebody out there can do it.
And a pitch taken high. Jimmy, let's go back to the catch by Broxton off the bat of Jose Martinez. You've done this before. A catch over the wall. What's the key for the center fielder?
Really, the best thing you can do is get back to the wall. You can see he's trying to get back to the wall, and he takes his eye off the ball for a split second and has to readjust. And you're right, he takes that ball. The ball probably bangs on the top of the wall, maybe just over it, but that's a home run. And the thing that used to frustrate me watching highlights and guys that weren't really good about it is they get too close to the wall and try to jump straight up. And a lot of times you get your shoulder caught in the wall, and it really just doesn't allow you to jump up. So you got to get back to the wall, but keep yourself about an arm's length away. So when you go up to jump, you have a clear lane of just nothing but air to jump up at an angle. It's like you don't stand underneath the basketball rim and try to dunk it and bring the ball around the rim. You kind of jump up to it and try to slam it. So it's the same kind of thing with the wall.
Broxton, the leadoff walk, and it brings in Jet Bandy. First time we've seen him in this series, and that's popped foul. The trade in the offseason after the deal of Jonathan Lucroy, they needed help their catching situation, and so Bandy comes to Milwaukee from the Angels from Martin Maldonado. That was in December. Pena is the #1 catcher, although Bandy has had now 44 starts. And that's a thing. I mean, if you have a reliable backup, let's just say Carson Kelly is that guy. Mike Matheny saying that catcher plays once every 5 days, 5.5 games or so. You know, you try to catch maybe some late innings, up by a lot, down by a lot. It's tough to be the backup to Yadier Molina.
Well, and it's also tough because a guy like Yadier Molina doesn't want to come out of the lineup. I mean, I wouldn't want to come out of the lineup. I don't care who is pitching, because every day you come out of the lineup is a day you could be 3 for 3, 4 for 4, a home run, a big day. And those are the things that you take pride in. So it's never a good day unless you just know you've played for 2 or 3 weeks straight. You got a day off coming. And when you're struggling at the plate, you'll sometimes give in a little bit more, especially if you have like a day game today and tomorrow would be an off day. That's a good time to take a day off. But other than that, you can't get the old school guys out of the lineup.
There's Carson Kelly.
And he's going to get his chance. This kid is going to be a good player, whether it's here or somewhere else. He's going to get a chance to play every day, and he's going to be a good catcher in the big leagues.
Broxton, your runner at first base.
That's the other thing too. You know, you have guys like this that are prospects, and you have a catcher like Yadi, and he's not really showing too much slowing down yet. Sometimes you look for maybe another prospect coming up or another draft pick. You go after a catcher and then use him to go get more players. Not that you want to get rid of a guy like that, but you definitely don't really need a superstar sitting on your bench when you have a superstar catching. So as a guy like Carson Kelly, he's not only going out there and trying to win for the Cardinals, but he's also trying to play for himself. And there's 29 other teams out there that he's in. You know, he's basically on show, you know, showing off for.
It's a fine line,
showing off those guns
for Mike Matheny. I mean, you know, Yadi's got 3 more years after this season. He wants to play every day. Trying to find him playing time.
That's a decision they're going to have to make, because 3 years is a long, long time to let that kid sit.
Broxton at first base, those 17 steals, the 6th most in the National League. Runner goes again. Molina to second. Quick tag. Got him. Quick tag by Wong. The appeal on the swing does not go, but what a throw there by Molina, and great hands by Colton Wong. That pitch in the dirty. Oh yeah, he got him.
Gave him some momentum, and even threw the ball on the wrong side of the bag. He still got it there in plenty of time.
It's a count of 2-2 on Jet Bandy. To put it in perspective, the durability of Yadier Molina, since 2005, that's when he became the everyday catcher of the Cardinals, he has tallied more than 1,500 innings than any other catcher in baseball. 1,500. That's a season or two better.
And that's how he does it. I mean, it's that position back there is so brutal, so tough on just the legs alone. Talk about that, and all you worry about is him getting hit, pitches getting tipped into him, getting hit by the bat. But just squatting like that every day on the knees has got to be a nightmare. And right there, we just saw he has no signs of slowing down, throwing the ball at second base.
Remember, he was hurt, or at least dinged up there in the first inning, and said, I'm staying in this game. Here's Orlando Arcia. Brewers feel he's making steady improvement at the plate. He was called up last year, played 55 games. You see Yadi the last 2 years. Very good job in stolen bases, those attempts against him. Arcia hit .219 in his first season in the big leagues, and then this year, through just over 100 games, right around .280. One hit in this series. Here's the 0-2. Up the middle and a base hit right over the head of Michael Walker. We're seeing that more and more, aren't we?
Guys are trying to stay inside the ball, hit the ball at the middle. Not saying they're trying to hit the ball back at the pitcher, but hitting the ball up the middle keeps your bat in the strike zone longer and allows you to hit all of the pitches. Pulling the ball, I said last night, the bat in and out of the zone too quick makes it really hard to make adjustments.
Garza is 3 for 25 this year. Corners are in, squares to bunt. He has one sacrifice this season. In his career, an .083 hitter with 150 strikeouts. Carpenter racing in. That's popped up behind home plate. We mention it all the time, but how the Cardinals and any team wants to play it. If you're going to charge in with a first baseman, right-handed thrower, you've got to try to keep the runner at second, someone close to give him a chance to get the lead man.
Yeah, you're basically charging from first. Pitcher has got the third base side, so you can leave the third baseman back to try to get that guy. But yeah, you have to keep the runner at second base close and not get too big of a jump.
And Lee with that swing and a strikeout. The third tonight, or rather today, for Michael Wacha. MLB.TV every night, every device, every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium. Visit MLB.TV for details. Well, here's Thames. Runners in scoring position. It has been such a struggle for him. Right around 150. Lowest in baseball.
Well, go back to reason being is when you hit like he hit in the first month, people aren't going to give you pitches to hit with runners in scoring position. And like I said, you learn how to hit breaking balls overseas, but they're not the same, and they just will not. It's relentless up here. They're not going to give you pitches to hit.
Taps it back to Wacha. The first 2 innings, the Brewers have stranded 4. No score. McDonald's. Cardinals hit a home run, get a free McDouble or frozen beverage the next day with the McDonald's app. Download it today for exclusive deals. Your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all, for less. Miller Park opened up in 2001. Hosted the All-Star game in 2002. And good thing that we do have the roof because it is pouring outside. Chicago and Arizona playing this afternoon. They're in a rain delay. Pittsburgh will play later tonight.
What's nice about this park too, I think, even though it's raining outside, unless the wind's really gusting, you still have a little bit of an open air feel with the windows open in the outfield, and you're not just stuck in this, even though it seems to be dark, not just stuck in this dark dome because of the way they've done the windows and allowed some air and some light to come in.
Old County Stadium.
First opening day.
Ooh, how cold?
22.
Oh man. Just some cold nights we spent there. Greg Garcia at the plate. Lines it foul near the Cardinal dugout. Came in late in game 2 last night, part of a double switch. .22 degrees.
Manager said, my manager was Buck Rogers, and he said, hey, young man, it's about the 5th inning. You're going to have to play in this game, so you might as well go upstairs and get warm.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. Which actually was a nice surprise, because a lot of times they just make you sit down there and deal with it.
And you being a Southern California kid, and then you train in Arizona, and all of a sudden you open up in Milwaukee, so you go from 90 degrees to 22. Not easy.
And you know what? I mean, it's not even funny, because you're sitting there doing nothing. There's no amount of clothes. Wind's whipping to the stadium. It's like even being up here at times, and you're in the elements. You can't get away from it, so you can't keep yourself warm enough. You got heaters, fans, whatever you want, but it's just impossible to stay warm in a cement dugout in the middle of a wind whipping 22 degrees.
You get the wind whipping off the lake, especially at Wrigley, blowing in. It is freezing.
My dad told me one of the coldest he's ever been was a game, and I think it was Cedar Rapids, and we played, and it was like 23, 24 degrees like that, but he was sitting in the stands and not knowing it was going to be that cold, wasn't really prepared for it. So probably one of the coldest he's ever been.
It's tough. But you battle the elements. Being a pro.
You learn how to deal with it. Hey, what's interesting is Edgar Renteria used to put baby oil all over him. Keeps the heat in.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of tricks that I've learned over the years.
2-2 the count here on Garcia. Walk on deck, and then Colnoir. No score here in the top of the 3rd. Garcia pops it up left side. And Arcia with the catch. Waka just 2 for 33 this year. A couple of RBIs. And the first pitch is taken high. Remember, Matt Garza was the ALCS MVP with Tampa Bay a few years ago. They went to the World Series. Eventually lost to the Phillies as he pitched for Joe Madden.
Wasn't Michael Wacha the NLCS MVP one year?
Now you see where I'm going. So former MVP squaring off today. For the Brewers, it's been a struggle. They've dropped 12 of 17 since the break. Pitching hasn't been nearly as good. The offense has dropped to the bottom in a lot of categories since the break. Your former manager Tony La Russa would always say a full baseball season really tells you who you are. You can be great for 4 months. You're not great for 2. You don't get in. That's who you are. Time will tell here with these Brewers and the Cardinals. 3-2. And a strikeout of Michael Wacha. Second of the afternoon for Garza. Fox Sports Supports proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved this fall. Visit foxsportsupports.com. And with 2 outs, we're back to the top of the lineup. And Colton Wong. '69th time in his career he's been a leadoff man. And the pitch is popped up. Shallow left, racing in Thames. And he makes the catch. That's 8 in a row set down by Garza. Milwaukee, the home of Harley Davidson and the Milwaukee Brewers. BJC Healthcare difference maker, and the ERA coming down, down, down for Michael Wacha. And what's interesting is that the month of August, he's actually in his career been pretty good for a guy that we always talk about trying to save bullets because of the shoulder issues that he has late in the year. And yet here he is getting better as the season goes on, and historically very good in August.
Maybe pitching through a little bit of that soreness and downtime, and that might even get him into the position of getting hurt as you see them closing the windows, because now it is really raining outside.
Fans used to be mesmerized by the roof. The wind is blowing and gusting. Rain starting to come into the ballpark. Some of those fans were moving. First year, the roof would be open. It'd be a beautiful night. Then they'd play the theme to Space Odyssey. And fans would just look at the roof open and close.
Look at that outside all of a sudden.
Jimmy, they were mesmerized by the roof.
The roof is on fire.
2-2. The 2-2 pitch. And a late swing and a strikeout, number 4 for Michael Wacha.
Little cutter right here. See all those pitches on the inside part right there, speed you up a little bit, and then you get that little cutter away, and even though you see the pitch, it's hard to stay on it.
You think about Wacha when he won the NLCS, primarily at that point a 2-pitch pitcher. He's really advanced with a cutter, a better breaking ball.
And his weapon was the changeup, which he doesn't throw that often anymore.
Jesus Aguilar at the plate. Struck out looking first time up. Back-to-back breaking balls.
Just goes to show you, like, you get to the big leagues and it's great. You never stop learning. You never stop trying to get better because everyone else is catching up with you. Get a guy like this and gets to the big leagues and is dominant as he was, and now he's a completely different pitcher. Just trying to stay ahead.
The 1-2 pitch. One time they had a leak in the roof here. It was near the Cardinal bullpen, and the bullpenners had to come in the dugout, and fans were scattered. It was just pouring. Oh, maybe it's coming in now.
There's always a few spots in the domes that leak. They're catching the drops.
Don't get hurt.
Keep yourself entertained during the game.
Here's a 3-2 pitch to Aguilar. Fly ball deep left. Going back Martinez, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee. Could see it coming. Second home run in as many games, number 11 this year.
See on this replay, he's a big guy. He doesn't have a big swing. All that power, and he's able to use it with just a nice, easy swing and trying to hit the ball in the barrel. That is the key to hitting right there.
The 11th for Aguilar, and the 11th given up by Michael Walkup. Here's Shaw, Brewers Player of the Month for May, June, and July. 7th in extra base hits, 9th in RBIs, 9th in home runs, and he pulls it foul. Breaks his bat on a hop to short. Greg Garcia with it and makes the play. The Hyundai pitch arsenal, the changeup 13% of the time, so fastball, cutter primarily. For fans, Jimmy, that don't know about a cutter, you being a left-handed batter, how tough can it be from a right-handed pitcher?
Did not like the cutter, because it's hard to tell where it's going to end up. It's so unpredictable. Sometimes they get underneath it, it runs a little bit more like a slider. Other times it's just tight, and by the time you recognize it, because it's a four-seam pitch that looks like a four-seam fastball, it just spins like a football. Sometimes it only moves a couple of inches, and that's just enough to break your bat, like you just saw with Travis Shaw.
Here's the 0-1. Hernan Perez, very versatile, as we mentioned. The only position he has not played this year, first base. He's pitched, he's caught, he's their emergency catcher. And lines it into right field. Over to cut it off with Scotty, holding Perez to a single.
Imagine catching and pitching in the same year in the big leagues.
We're just playing that amount of positions at this level. The speed of the game, the angles of.
And the easiest one on the field you have not played yet.
First base. Broxton snapped an 0 for 20 with a double yesterday. 0-88 in his last 20 games. Very streaky hitter. Walked and was caught stealing first time up. And looks at a fastball. To give you an idea of how streaky he's been, 119 in the first 14 games. Next 28, 337. Next 16, 082. 16 after that, 353. I mean, there's no middle ground there. 0-2. That's streaky. Mark Attanasio, the owner, purchased this team in 05. Made the postseason in 2008. Broke their 26-year drought. CC Sabathia was so good down the stretch. In 11, Ryan Braun, the MVP. They added Greinke and Gallardo. Won the division. They beat Arizona in the division series, then lost to the Cardinals in 6 games. In 2011, they go out and hire David Stearns, the age of 30, to be the GM here. Runner goes, bobbled by Molina on a breaking ball. Not much of a chance. And Perez has stolen base number 10.
You're so accustomed to Yachty just doing everything automatically. So hard to pick a breaking ball off the ground, catch it cleanly, because the ball now, it's one thing to catch it, it's another thing to catch it in the pocket where you know your hand's going to go to, and be able to throw a guy out.
The 2-2. Little squibber hit to the right side. Carpenter will take it, steps on the bag. The home run by Aguilar on a 3-2 pitch. Brewers have an early lead. Coming up, one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Already 1 for 1 today. Tommy Pham leads it off. Home run by Aguilar, and it's 1-0. T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break. Sonny Gray makes his Yankee debut later tonight. Zach Greinke will face Jose Quintana. They're in a rain delay at Wrigley, and Alex Wood. He's been red hot. 12-1 this year, 2.38 ERA, and the Dodgers running away with the National League West. From Denmark, they're here to take in baseball.
It's a long drive.
Ooh, that'd be a really long drive. Here's Pham, who has the only Cardinal hit, a base hit to left. We're in the top of the 4th. And a strike along with Jim Edmonds. Of Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. 32 hits in the month of July for Tommy Pham. Career high. The 0-1. Two balls and a strike. Look at these Chevy Fox tracks. The 2-2. A swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3 for Garza. August 11th kicks off the 1987 National League Championship Anniversary Weekend, presented by Heartland Coca-Cola. 30,000 fans 16 and older receive an adult replica 1987 jersey. You don't know which player will be on your jersey until you walk through the gates of Busch. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Cardinals also releasing 4 more theme dates before this season is through. Great promotions, giveaways at the ballpark coming up. Come on out. Carpenter in the month of July hit leadoff at 24 of the 26 games. The Cardinals were 500 in those games. This being the 54th time this year he's not been in a leadoff spot. Average at 209. So again, the numbers just don't lie. It's one of the oddities of Matt Carpenter. The shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a high fly ball lifted out to left. Thames going back on the track and makes the catch. That's 10 in a row set down by Garza. And the batter is Jed Jerko.
And didn't carpet that ball that good, and you see it almost carried all the way to the track. Just goes to show you what kind of a hitter's ballpark this can be.
Nice crowd here at Miller Park. One of the final days before kids are back in school here in this area. Many times day games, promotional days for clubs, for kids. That's the case here this afternoon. You always see behind the Cardinals dugout a ton of red. Cardinals travel here very, very well. Here's the 0-1. Popped up again. Jerko flips his bat to the shallow right. Who wants it? The right fielder, Santana. 11 in a row for Garza. last night in Game 2 here in Milwaukee. More on that. Let's check in with Jim.
You know, Dan, Adam Wainwright is set to rejoin the rotation at some point in Cincinnati. In the clubhouse today, guys, we're still talking about how good Luke Weaver was in taking Waino's start last night. Weaver said he learned some valuable lessons in his last start, which he felt was a little too cautious for him. He told me, I changed things up. I just had a more aggressive mentality. When I got guys in scoring position, I had the mindset. That's as far as they were going. And Dan, we had Luke on the pregame show today with, as an added bonus, Lance Lynn sitting in between us. Not the easiest setup, but a delightful segment nonetheless.
I'm sure, Jimmy, you forged forward like it was no big deal having Lance right between you two.
Well, as you know, Lance really just wants to help, and help he did.
Jimmy, are you being facetious with that?
Oh, Lance Lynn is a constant delight. He was there to back up Luke Weaver and make sure that Luke stayed in his lane, as Lance put it.
Did he say anything during the interview with Lance?
Yeah, he said Luke helped them get a big win last night, and that he threw fastballs.
And that was it.
That was about it. He was sort of orchestrating it, like the guy with the baton.
And as you mentioned, a constant delight.
You know that, Danny.
Jet Bandy is at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. How did you like dealing with the cat when you were in uniform?
He was a pain in the.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
No, he was good. You know, the guys love him. He's always around. I tried to tell everyone he was a good guy. Little inside joke.
A swing and a miss. At 5 strikeouts.
Even though time to time he would kind of maybe rag on the opposing team once in a while. On the
But he shouldn't do that, right?
No, you got to be careful what you say on the big screen.
Orlando Arcia, base hit to center. I think Jim is the best, and I mean this sincerely, in the business.
He's a good guy. I cannot wait to share a car with him to the airport today. Speak of the devil.
My understanding is, a ball game, you were able to maybe diffuse some of the issues with the cat and others in the clubhouse. Is this true?
It was a little bit of a struggle to keep him on
point.
Yeah, keep him going in the right direction.
There were no issues. There was one incident that Jimmy may or may have not helped me a little bit. It's good to have an ally like ball game.
He asked me to reach out to Bill Hall one time, bail him out of some trouble.
Jimmy's the best.
Thanks, Dan.
The cat.
Oh, sorry.
It's like when you're on the games, I got to call you ball game, and Hayes is the cat. 3-1 on Orlando Arcia, the 8th place hitter. The Jim keeps it light, fun, access. For instance, yesterday, getting Yadier Molina after the game. I'm not sure anybody else media-wise had the chance to visit with Yadi. He had the informative piece on what the bullpen guys are wearing. Balls hit up the middle just in case. The protective headwear by the relief corps, some of the pitchers of the Cardinals. So he's digging up stories, interesting things, and keeping it light with the players.
Got Yadi to try a new look.
Yeah,
for
the
his
helmet
interview
on.
after the game with the helmet on.
The face mask. Good guy. So base hit by Arcia, and it brings in Garza, who struck out back in the 2nd. You got to keep an eye on Arcia too. He has 10 steals.
You can tell by Garza's choking up that he's about to bunt.
Dropping to his knees, and strike 1. Sometimes not easy for those that began their careers in the American League to come over to the National League and bunt. You don't do it in the minor leagues. Certainly don't do it in American League games.
I thought you were going to say American Legion.
Sometimes there too.
A button there either.
Garza trying to pick up his second sacrifice this year. The point being, you could go years without picking up a bat. And there are some that even in interleague play don't swing the bat with pitchers that go to a National League park.
And I think it's all in your personality too, because when I was in the American League, the pitchers couldn't wait to hit. And they would try to get the coaching staff to get them out there, get them out early. Whenever we had early hitting, they would beg Rod Carew when I was in Anaheim to go out and hit. And some guys just don't really care.
Rod Carew, one of the great bunters ever in baseball. Hitting coach here for a while in Milwaukee when they set records for strikeouts. Jeff Jenkins and Richie Sexson, Jose Hernandez, all high strikeout guys. Garza joined Milwaukee in 2014. He's 11 games under 500 wearing that Brewers uniform. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Pushed foul. Here's a 1-2. Pitch high, 2-2. Tell you what, Marcia could have had a great jump against Michael Wacha on that last pitch. I wonder if Yachty and the staff noted that as well. Maybe see a throw over here. The bunt is down. Play at second base. Carpenter there. Back to first. And safe. Chancy play by Carpenter, but you love to see it.
Great play right there. Ball was bunted hard enough where he could take that chance and can't hesitate. You just got to go with it.
Brings in Thames, team leading 25th home run yesterday. And trying to make it 7 consecutive games with a base hit. And the first pitch is caught by Cole Long and a diving stop, and what a play. He robs Eric Thames. Great play, Cole Long. Milwaukee, but why not take in a little baseball here at Miller Park? The roof is closed, and the paneling has now been closed after the wind kicked up. Some of that was blowing inside the ballpark, so they closed it up. And Matt Garza, Jim Edmonds, has set down 11 in a row. He's allowed 1 base hit. That was Tommy Pham, the second batter that he saw in this game. What are you seeing from Garza?
I think he's doing a really good job of just keeping everyone honest. He's putting the pitching in, up, down. He's got a good slow breaking ball working today. Getting the ball away with a fastball and a little slider. But really just, if you look at some of the pitch tracks we've shown today, you'll see a pitch in all quadrants of the strike zone, if not out of the strike zone. So definitely giving everyone an honest look at all of his pitches.
Cardinals head to Cincinnati after the ball game today. Weekend series with the Reds, then 2 with Kansas City. All those games on Fox Sports Midwest. Then back home for 5, and then back out on the road. There's Yadier Molina, grounded out to second, first time up. Big gap in left center. And the first pitch to Molina. Had the chance to visit with John Kelly, the voice of the Blues. He was telling me he never misses a game, and very pleased that Lance Lynn is still in a Cardinal uniform. He likes to watch Lance go every 5th day. Before you know it, Blues hockey will be here. Training camp kicks off, I believe, in the middle of September. It's funny how they do it. You know, they may have physicals, a practice, then they're on a plane the next day or the day after playing preseason games.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they skate very long, maybe a week or 2. Obviously, probably a little bit longer than that, but they go straight to work. That's one of those sports you better be in shape when you get to camp.
Oh. There's not the 6 weeks to get into shape. You have to be ready from the onset. The 2-0 pitch to Molina. Popped up and out of play. Yadi is on pace for 557 at bats. There are only 7 catchers in the history of the game that have gotten more at bats in age 34 or later seasons than what Molina may do this year. He had a career high 10 total bases last night, so he made a little history. Also the 750th RBI of his career. The 2-1 pitch. Most home runs all time Cardinal catchers: Simmons, Molina, Torrey, McCarver, Del Rice. But with the 750 RBIs, over 1,500 hits, only 20 catchers in all of baseball have done that. John Kelly, the outstanding play-by-play voice, St. Louis Blues hockey, does a great job. His dad, a legend in the sport, and John is too. We're lucky to have him. 3-2 the count on Yadier Molina. Garza has set down 11 in a row. Taps it foul. Winter Classic was right up Jim Edmonds' alley. You had fun, didn't you?
I did. I think the whole city had fun.
It's great to see the Cardinals come together with the Blues and the promotional giveaways. The synergy between the two.
But that's something they can keep moving forward with in the future, even if we don't have a Winter Classic in town. I think it was good.
And There's the Cardinals' first base runner since back in the first. If you can't catch the games on television, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Midwest and Cardinals baseball with you wherever you go. The leadoff walk, and it brings in Martinez, who was robbed by Keon Broxton in center field with a catch over the wall. Was hit safely in 4 of the last 5 games he's played in. Actually had a multi-home run game against these Brewers earlier this season. Got 7 on the year. One pitch. The back pocket is out. The uniform of Martinez. Back in your day, is that a fine?
No, actually, you know what's really funny? Some people, that's a superstition. Some people will pull their pocket out on purpose, because once in a while a guy will pull his batting glove out of his pocket and the pocket will fall out, and then he'll go up there and get a hit. So then it becomes a thing.
One of the theme nights the Cardinals just came out with involves the St. Louis Blues at the end of September. A knit cap giveaway, also a batting practice Blues jersey coming up at the ballpark. Three and one the count. See if the Cardinals can't get something going here. Hitters count 3 balls 1 strike. Molina, your runner at first base. Time is called. That is a ball. Back-to-back walks. Reminder, the 30th anniversary of the 1987 National League Championship team is coming up. Weekend celebration presented by Heartland Coca-Cola. Many of those players will be back in town. There's a replica ring giveaway and also a pack of baseball cards courtesy of Topps. Cardinals.com/promotions. That's Saturday, August 12th. Well, Stephen Piscotty activated before game 1 of this series with the groin issue that he had. This has been a spot that in his brief career at the major league level he's been very good at. This year hitting .311 with runners in scoring position. Back-to-back walks. Remember the issues, keep in the back of the mind of Garza fielding his position and throwing in particular. Piscotty lines it foul. Strike 1.
It's kind of hard to bunt here. I was looking at that, and then you go next hitter in line is Garcia, and then you have the pitcher spot. So if anybody at home's wondering, this would be not a bad time to bunt, but not at this spot in the order.
Here's a 0-1 pitch. Scotty is 0 for 4 lifetime against Garza. See the second baseman Perez trying to keep Molina fairly close to the bag at second. Room on the right side of the infield. So you got Aguilar, who is even with the bag at first base. We'll see how he wants to play with 2 strikes back up. But all kinds of room on that right side. Here's a 1-2. Popped up again. Out of play. If you're wondering, the last home run for Piscotty was the interleague series against the Orioles. Room on the right side of the infield, gap in the outfield in left center.
Get on first base every now and then. You got a little time to catch up. A little conversation going on out there. A little conversation going on at second. That means there's too much time in between pitches.
And time is called.
Good thing they don't have to travel commercial anymore. We'll be missing this flight today.
And Bandy out to visit. Sometimes you can visit with more than just the second baseman or the shortstop individually. Both will come in and talk.
A little Latin flair going on out there on the base paths right now. A little catch up. Yeah, a little catch up.
1-2. Pulled foul.
Tell you what, it's impressive and it's obvious. It's been in reverse situation, but these Latin players are so close to each other all around the league, experiencing the same difficulties and the same troubles and the same situations. I remember being in Venezuela and just couldn't wait to get somewhere where there was another American who you can share some experiences with, and I would imagine it is equally as tough here.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Got it. Lulled him to sleep for a strikeout. Brett Cecil throwing in the Cardinals pen. 4th strikeout for Garza. Greg Garcia getting the start. DeYoung a day of rest. He's hit in 8 of his last 9. 192 with runners in scoring position. Luke Voigt at the on-deck circle. Runners at first and second. Pretty good arm in center and in right. Thames, I'm not sure we've seen enough of him in left.
Not really. you would have to say that he probably would be the guy that throws. I guess I wouldn't use the word the worst out of the three, but like you said, don't get a whole lot of chance to see him throw.
Garcia looks at a ball that comes into play when you think about where they're playing for Greg Garcia, fairly shallow, and the speed of Yadier Molina at second base. A ball and a strike.
I would almost say that Thames is playing a little bit actually too deep.
No question.
But playing it safe with the winning run on first base and it only being the 5th inning, I guess give him some room and see what happens.
Two and one. The 2-1 pitch. Garcia slaps it foul. The 2-2 to Greg Garcia. Garcia up the middle, base hit. Here comes Molina. He'll score, and Greg Garcia has tied this game. It's 1-1. Luke Voit will be the pinch hitter. That'll be it for Michael Wacha. Only 81 pitches on the day, but Mike Matheny is going to roll the dice here midway through, trust his bullpen to get a lot of outs, and say that maybe Luke Voit could do some damage in this spot.
Well, you got a lot of guys down there. A lot of arms down there to go to, and I would think fairly rested. So take the chance. You got to win these games, though. You got to drive these runs in. And I think that maybe if this runner wasn't at third base with one out, he might have left Michael Wacha in there. But you have to take a chance right here and let Luke drive this run in.
Luke was 2 for 4 last night with a run and an RBI. 3 for 9 as a pinch hitter. He started in place of Carpenter, who was the late scratch. No activity yet in the pen for Milwaukee. Oh, 1 pitch to Luke Voit.
The speed of this game is starting to really drag, and I'm wondering if it doesn't take a toll on the Milwaukee infielders, especially saw that ball by Garcia barely get through the infield. Not a lot of range, not a chance to move.
Perez is there, backhand, steps on the bag, throw high. Aguilar stays on the bag at first base. The double play. The Cardinals, though, tie it up. Head to their bullpen. The Cardinals with 2 hits and have tied it up. The State Farm double play. This is positioning. Perez playing towards the middle. Steps on the bag for the double play. We've seen Luke Voigt, a lot of his base hits going straight up the middle.
Really stays inside the ball, and yeah, you're right. Perfect positioning right there. Very lucky to get that double play as long as that inning took.
So here's Cecil, who comes in relief of Michael Wacha. Moves up to second in the lineup, does Domingo Santana. Batted 5th last night. The first pitch is fouled back. Cecil has gone 6 2/3 this year against Milwaukee. 7 games and a 0 ERA. Going to the count. And he struck him out. This is our Chevy call to the pen. Brett Cecil in for the Cardinals. He's averaging about 8 strikeouts per 9. 52nd appearance here this afternoon. There's Aguilar, who struck out and then hit a solo home run on a 3-2 pitch off of Michael Wacha back in the 3rd. The only run that Wacha allowed today. Strike 1. Michael went 4 innings, gave up 1 run, 5 hits. He struck out 5, walked 3. And it's 0-2. I see what you were saying too, Jimmy. This late in the season, head-to-head to gain ground on someone ahead of you by 2 games. Wacha gets pulled early as the Cardinals look for offense.
You know,
Out of play.
It's almost like you're getting to the point now in the season where it's almost playoff day every day.
Yep.
You have to find ways to win, and if you have to get a chance, or you get a chance right there to score a run to get ahead, you almost have to take it. Especially, like I said, 1 out, runner on 3rd, you take that chance. You know, 2 outs, runner on 3rd, 2 outs, runner on 2nd. Maybe not. Maybe you roll the dice a little bit. But I think what Mike did right there is looking ahead with the rested bullpen and really trying to, runs are a premium, especially today with Garza throwing, really trying to go out and get that 1 run to get ahead.
Oh-2, struck him out. Aguilar better be careful. We know that Tom Hallion has a great uppercut.
Great uppercut. What did you call him?
Enrico Palazzo.
This is, in my opinion right here, completely inappropriate by the umpire. He did not show him up. He did not say anything. And there's never, I don't care what anyone says, a reason for the umpire to chase down the hitter. Either throw him out or leave him alone.
The player's walking away.
It's inappropriate. Sorry.
Don't apologize. I agree.
One of my pet peeves in this league is you do everything you can to argue with umpires, stay polite, stay professional. It's part of the game. And then they get the grace period to do whatever they want. I never liked it as a player. Didn't appreciate it. And no, it's not an easy job. But the temper part of it, it definitely has no room in the game for it. Some guys think that they're bigger than the game.
And a grounder pulled foul.
And now they got it easier than ever. Now they don't even have, you can't even argue with them. Can't speak to them. The manager can't go out there.
Certainly on the calls, the bases that are close go to be reviewed. You can't argue balls and strikes. ball and a base hit into right. So Travis Shaw is second hit, 2 for 3.
Like I said, that job is hard. As you see Travis Shaw get a hanging slider, posited into right center field. Job's not easy, but there's protocol out there. There's protocol for players. Players' games isn't easy either. You're supposed to be respectful and not show them up. Why is the other way okay? It's frustrating when you're arguing with an umpire and the other umpire comes in and bumps you out of the way. That was the opposite. You're suspended. It's one of the things that I really had enough with as a player watching that go on.
Ground ball, base hit left side. Well, to me, Aguilar, you know, he might have said something, but is walking away. And he's not standing there. He's not trying to show him up. He's walking towards the dugout. So why is the umpire getting in his face? And in my mind, when you do that, you might as well be baiting the player.
That's what he did. And basically all he did was kind of jump. And when you strike out like this, he's frustrated, right? All he did was there. Oh, no. Might not be a strike. Come on.
That's nothing.
He said that's down.
Yeah, Tom Hallion, that's not right. No. Runners at first and second. Here's Keon Broxton. Fans come to watch players play. And Aguilar, I mean, that's nothing what he did.
You're right.
Here's the 0-1. 3 consecutive hits, base hit into left field. Run will score. Milwaukee back on top. Cecil was a strike away from striking out the side. 3 consecutive singles, and the Brewers back on top 2-1.
Pretty good job of hitting right there. Cutter in off the plate. Kept his hands in. See why this kid can be special. I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the tools, a little bit more consistency at the plate, and he's going to be a good player. He's a nice short swing on a ball in off the plate.
Here's Jet Bandy. Walked, struck out. Called from AAA Colorado Springs back on the 18th of July. Stephen Voigt was injured. First pitch is hit out of play. Broxton had been 0 for 5 in the series. Here's the 0-1. Ground ball pulled foul. Oh-2 pitch. Fly ball. Out of play. Runners go, and a strikeout. Doesn't matter, it's a strikeout of Bandy. So he strikes out the side. That would have been a double play. What a throw by Yachty. 2-1. Up 2-1. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals have the top of the order coming up. Colton Wong, Tommy Pham, and Matt Carpenter. The rain has stopped, so the paneling will open back up. Colton Wong is 0 for 2 against Matt Garza. He's pitched well. He's allowed just 2 hits and 1 run. Got into trouble back in the 5th when he walked 2, gave up a base hit. Cardinals are 6 games above 500 when Wong is in the starting lineup. Tommy, our director, just asked the question, who's working faster? The panel's moving to become open, or Matt Garza?
I'm going to go with the one on the right.
Here's a 1-0. Slow breaking ball and a strike. The Cardinals 2 hits, one by Pham in the first inning, the other by Greg Garcia. An RBI to center. His base hit, 10th RBI of the year. The 1-1. Garza pitched 5 innings in each of his last 2 starts. No decision against the Phillies. That was here, then a loss at Citizens Bank Park. And that'll be a base hit into left. Leadoff man is aboard. Power stats looking at Tommy Pham. Highest OPS, that's on base plus slugging, among the Cardinals in Pham since the break, 995. Activity in both pens. The base hit to left field, struck out looking back in the 4th. Think about the shifting of the outfielders minus Dexter Fowler, who would play every day more than likely if healthy. Tommy Pham's got to be in there every day.
Well, definitely right now. I mean, he's showing why everyone was so high on him. Never got his chance to get called up and get to the big leagues because of injuries and problems, and now we're seeing why.
That's caught. And back to the bag at first is Wong. That's a tough base running play there for Colt Wong.
Did a good job right here, getting a little bit off the base and making sure that it doesn't fall, but yet get out there a little bit further, you get double play ball. It's a nice job by Colt Wong.
Here's Carpenter. And a pitch in the dirt. Matt today, flied out to right, flied to left, 0 for 2. Carpenter with a high fly ball lifted out to left. Thames under it, and he makes the catch. With 2 outs, it brings in Jerko, twice his fly to right. He has 37 home runs since last year's All-Star break. That's 6th most in the National League, and the Cardinals could use one right here. One point Garza set down 11 straight in this game. The first pitch is taken for a ball. The start of the last road trip, July 14th, is the last time that Jerko went deep, so he's due. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1. Garza has 10 fly ball outs. He struck out 4, only 2 ground ball outs. Long taking a peek in, looking at the pitcher, trying to get a read. The 2-1. Jerko with a fly ball out to left. Thames is over, won't get there. Colton on his way to third base. Runners at the corners for St. Louis. 2 hits in the inning, number 4 today for St. Louis. And the batter will be Yadier Molina. Cardinals Insider, the show that's put together by the the Cardinals staff asked me what impresses me most about Yadier Molina. And I said, you can look at the pickoffs, the big moments, the throws. To me, and I don't know if you agree with this, it's his durability.
Toughness.
He's behind there every single day. That was earlier in the game when he took a foul ball and really was shook up. Cardinals medical team took a look at him, but here he is still in the game. It's amazing. His durability for so many years. And you know he's hurt. You know it. Chevy called to the pen. This will be, it looks like, a double switch for Craig Counsell's club. We'll tell you about the change when we come back. Barnes, runners at first and third, 2 outs. And Yadier Molina will be the batter. Homered twice here last night. Now 12 at this ballpark, the most of any ballpark outside of Busch Stadium. For Molina. A clutch player, too. 2 outs, runners in scoring position in his career, which began back in 2004. A .290 average. Lewis Brenson, part of the double switch, takes over in center. Broxton out of the game. Barnes pitched the 7th Tuesday night. Scoreless inning, struck out 1. Cheesehead, so you know we're in Milwaukee. Barnes against right-handed batters, pretty simple. Fastball, slider. It's about split between those 2 pitches. 0-1.
Helps a little bit when you're throwing 99. Don't need a whole lot of extra pitches.
Bandy giving the defensive signals here. Yadi even studying that. Maybe gives him an indication of the pitch that's coming. positioning defensively. Any kind of edge. Here's a 1-2. Molina with a fly ball out to Brinson. This should do it. Brett is through. Cardinals strand a couple. They've left 4 on in this game. To tee off for the Blues for Kids Foundation. It'll be Monday, September 11th, alongside Blues players, coaches, alumni, executives. Foursomes are on sale now. Visit stlouisblues.com/golf classic for more information. Arizona puts up 4 runs in the top of the first at Wrigley, but now it's another rain delay in the second. And the game is in the hands of the umpires. Here's Arcia, the second inning of work for Cecil. Strike 1.
I kind of feel like we were in the middle of a rain delay here ourselves.
Mike Hargrove, the human rain delay. Garza went 5 2/3, 4 hits. Liner to center. And Pham is there with the catch. Gave up 1 earned, walked 2, struck out 4 in 86 pitches. And it's up to the bullpens in this tight 2-1 game here in the bottom of the 6th. Cecil back in the 5th was a strike away from striking out the side with the first 3 batters. It was a base hit by Shaw, single by Perez, single by Keon Broxton, and the RBI. Broxton lifted in this game for Brinson, who's at the plate, part of the double switch. It'll be part of the equation of taking out Michael Wacha. The fact that you're going to have to get multiple innings from someone, more than likely. Cecil had only thrown 24 pitches the last 7 days. He's had 22 today. On a hop to second baseman Coldwell. 2 away. Tomorrow night we are in Cincinnati. And Mike Leake will go against Wojciechowski. League 7-9. The former Red will come your way at 5 on Fox Sports Midwest. The strike to Thames. He struck out, grounded out, and lined out. Great play by Colton Wong to his left with a diving catch. So reminder that the ball game tomorrow, first pitch at 6:40. Cincinnati time. 5:40 back home in St. Louis. So the 5 o'clock pregame show. Remember, lefties came in hitting nearly .330 against Brett Cecil. And today they are over 4. That slider is working today.
Definitely got a better slider today. A couple balls up, that back-to-back hits. Other than that, 3 strikeouts and then ground ball and a line drive to center. I mean, just the process, you know, you got to get out there and pitch. And
late swing and the strikeout of things. Two-1 our score. Two-1 our score. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. In steps Jose Martinez. It's another one-run game. And you think about it, game 1, Wong being thrown out at the plate. Cardinals lose by 1. Today, Cardinals trailing by 1. It was Jose Martinez at the plate, and the catch by Keon Broxton to rob him of a home run. If not, it's 2-2. Here's a 1-0. The 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. Inside, and that's ball 4. So the tying run is aboard for the Cardinals. Barnes came in, got the final out in the 6th, and now the tying run is on. August 13th, 30,000 fans 16 and older receive that coaster set right there. 4 ceramic Cardinals themed coasters courtesy of Coca-Cola and Schnucks. And get your August 13th tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Martinez with 2 walks stands at first base. Piscotty 0 for 2, fly to right and struck out.
He is just a little touch behind the fastball still. And that's some good swings today. Just missed a couple of sliders earlier in the day. Fastball just a little tardy. Just not the same guy we saw last year yet.
Tough second half. Trying to turn it around. One swing of the bat would help that too.
Yes, it would. Wake a few people up.
Here's the 0-1. Stretching in the Brewers bullpen, but no one throwing. Cecil, 2 innings under his belt. You would have to think that his day is through. Oh-2. Pitch probably a pretty good example of what you're talking about, just being just a little bit of tick off.
Just a tick, like you said. It's probably something small too. Maybe he's just in between, just not getting to pitches that he has in the past. But there's a lot to it, you know. And he's had a tough year this year, up and down, hurt. Tough to play this game when other things are going on.
Very short lead at first by Martinez. Another 0-2 pitch. On a play.
Martinez pulling for him.
They probably all realize he's not that far away too. You start seeing guys foul the ball back, staying on pitches that normally, when I say normally, or at least recently, they're not making contact with. You're starting to dial it in. Last at bat, this at bat, 12 pitches Piscotty has seen. In the dirt. 1-2. Good play by Bandy to keep it in front. This weekend, the Cardinals have Leake, Lynn, and Martinez coming up against Cincinnati. Here's a 1-2. Check swing. Got him.
Whew. It's pretty close.
Here's Garcia.
I don't even know if that's close. I think that might be on the side of wrong. It's a very fine line in that rule itself too. Is does he break the plane of the plate? And I think you were talking about before that that's not even really the rule technically.
Garcia, ground ball, could be 2, 4, 6, 3, double play. Good work by Barnes out of the pen of Milwaukee. Time to stretch. A 2-1 ball game. $66, 8 gallons or more now until September 25th. Receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Kevin Segrist into the ball game. This is Chevy called to the pen. His last appearance, a rough one against Arizona. So he gave up 3 hits and 4 runs. There's a home run in there, walked 3. So trying to get back on track here today. Our crowd this afternoon, biggest of the series, 40,170. 40170. 7th appearance for Kevin this year against Milwaukee. First pitch is strike to Domingo Santana. We're underway in the home half of the 7th.
It's a pretty nice crowd for a Thursday afternoon.
You bet.
I'm telling you, this place will surprise you if you're an out-of-towner when you come to a ball game here. Good fans.
0-2. Santana has walked and struck out twice. Walk into the pitch.
Nice little view of Colton getting ready. It's every single pitch.
Strikeout. I'm not sure in the backswing if Molina got caught with the bat. That looks to be the case. Not all that behind his mask is protected. There's a little bitty, maybe an inch and a half area that's open to the hat that he wears.
Caught him right in the crease right there.
Ouch.
Tough day right now.
The Brewers have struck out now 10 times in this game. For those of you that just joined us early on, he took a ball to be off the clavicle, then into the chin area. And now in the backswing. Gets it in the back of the head. There's the first one. He was really shook up after that. And now moments ago, Jesus Aguilar. Santana now 1 for 9 in this series with 6 strikeouts. Aguilar struck out twice, but a home run on a 3-2 pitch back in the third. Third inning, home run number 11. Just a big, strong guy. Pretty simple swing.
Like I said earlier, short swing for a big guy, a lot of power.
The 1-1. The first plate appearance against Santana, we saw a lot of breaking balls with a right-handed batter. And primarily Segrist is fastball changeup against the righties. There's a 1-2. Curveball there. So after the last time out against Arizona, struggled, now changing it up.
I mean, get to the dog days here and not feeling as fresh as you normally feel, and sometimes you go out there when you don't feel as good as you normally feel, and you give up some runs, some hits, and then you have to go back out there another day, and if it's the same, you have to try something different.
Right center, Fan makes the catch. 2 outs.
Pretty good job by Tommy. Yeah, I was gonna say pretty good job by Tommy Pham here. Kind of ball was that ball was hit off the bat. I thought for sure that was going to get through. It stayed up in the air, but Tommy ran it down. Also gives you a little indication of the kind of pop that Aguilar has, because that ball did stay in the air with backspin a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
Travis Shaw, 2 hits. Both have been singles and a run scored. Last year for the entire season with Boston at 242. Popped 16 home runs, drove in 71. This year, 288, 24 homers, 74 driven in and counting. Pablo Sandoval is now with the Giants in their system as the Red Sox eat $49 million remaining on that contract. You know, they're thinking he's going to come back and be okay, and just didn't work out. They traded Shaw. They got Thornburg, who has not pitched for them. The Brewers also got 3 other prospects. That is a one-sided deal.
To say it a little bit.
Two and two. Shaw started hitless in this series, 0 for 7, couple of hits today. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out in a scoreless inning for Kevin Segrist. Zach is in, 4th appearance in that Brewers uniform. He pitched a scoreless 8th with 3 strikeouts in game 1 of the series. Lefty's only 169 that average. The Cardinals have used Luke Voigt as a pinch hitter. Now it'll be Randall Grichuk, then the top of the lineup, Colton Wong and Tommy Pham. Two on our score. Grichuk has hit safely in 9 of his last 12. Hitless though in this series. Swarzak in relief of Barnes. And the first pitch taken for a strike.
Talked to Randall today about yesterday, about the day before. Said, you know, you're going to have those days. Yesterday with 3 strikeouts. Just didn't feel comfortable. He said he started to feel a little bit comfortable in his 3rd at bat. Took the high strike. Started feeling a little bit better in his 4th at bat. And then, so I was like, you just can't let that get in your head and you can't worry. It's like part of the process. If you're working on something, you're still trying to learn how to let the ball get deep. Hit the ball at the middle. Can't really allow a bad day discourage you from working on something.
Strikes out here.
It's all part of the process of being a young player.
It brings in Colton Wong. 1 for 3 as the leadoff man today. And as we have mentioned time and again in our telecast with Matt Carpenter, and we do point out the batting average and what he does as a leadoff man as opposed to the 3rd man in the lineup. Carpenter also the high on base percentage, and you know, at times you look at the OPS, very good no matter where he hits in the lineup. So you know, by shifting Carpenter to the 3rd spot, probably not that big a deal. Just gets pointed out a lot. Matt getting on base an awful lot. We point that out though all the time. Looking at OPS, walks, on base percentage as it pertains to average as well. The 2-0. 2-1.
I believe I've ever been to this ballpark where I've seen the windows open and close so many times as I have today.
Never seen it do this.
No.
Close back up again.
3rd time. Crazy weather in the area. Spotty rain showers, as they say.
Inside. Pouring outside.
Again. It's going to make the cat nervous in this flight.
(3-1) pitch. And Wong, a fly ball. Deep right. This ball is off the top of the wall. Colton on his way to second base. And a foot or 2 away from tying this game up. Woo, it was close.
I had my call on him the last at bat. Thought when they tried to come in with a fastball that he was going to hit a homer. He has been working himself into better and better counts and getting him a chance to hit ahead in the count, and that's when you can turn it loose. And he had just missed a home run there. Little frustration right there. Can't buy himself a homer, but take the double anytime.
Here's Tommy Pham. Runner at second, one out. Good speed. Wong at second. A pitch in the dirt. For the Cardinals, their first extra base hit today. 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Pham had the first base hit for the Cardinals in the first frame. After that, it was 11 straight set down by Matt Garza. Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Carpenter at the on-deck circle. Including today, Pham has hit in 8 straight starts. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1.
Talk about it all the time, the difference between the minor leagues and the big leagues right there. Minor leagues, you get a 2-0 fastball, even at the AAA level. Here, you get a 2-0 slider.
Three and 1. Big pitch in this game right here.
Now as a hitter, you have to decide, is he going to go 3-1 slider because he went the 2-0 slider, or are you going to get a fastball to hit?
Three 3-1. Pham chops it to short. Wong back to the bag at second. 2 outs.
Got to believe that if you're getting a 2-0 slider, it's a pretty good chance you're going to get a 3-1 slider. And that's showing a lot of respect to Tommy Pham.
Carpenter is 0 for 3. .258 the average with runners in scoring position. The shift on here for Carpenter. Jerko at the on-deck circle. Got a very good lefty, Josh Hader, in their pen. First base open. Jerko on deck. We'll see how much Carpenter will get to hit.
I mean, if I'm the Brewers and he's hitting in the 3-hole, I'm just throwing him fastballs down the middle he can't hit. I'm hoping they think that. Be nice to see a 2-run homer right here.
I am surprised that Hader's not in the game right here. Last home run for Carpenter back on June 24th. His 5 appearances playing into part of the equation here for Craig Counsell. Swarzak, no hits given up to lefties in those 5 appearances. Council sticking with the right-handed veteran. Certainly can get lefties out. We've seen that. Numbers bear it. Not going with the young lefty against Carpenter. A ball and 2 strikes. Good speed at second. And the 1-2. What a fine play that is by Jet Bandy.
Nice job right there, like you said. Getting over, getting in front of it. Keeping it. Catching it actually was even more impressive, but just getting in front of it on a pitch that sharp in the dirt. Tough job for a catcher. Should have got guys out in scoring position.
The 2-2 pitch. Carpenter lifts it in the air. Center field. Tailing now towards left. And the threat is through. 2-1 our score midway through 8. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends, and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the Cardinals. Heavy rain outside the ballpark, pouring. 2-1 our score as we head to the home half of the 8th. Sun Wan-Oh was actually sent home to the, I say sent home, but to the team hotel yesterday. Wasn't feeling all that well, and so he's back at the ballpark today. Chevy called to the pen. Last appearance was against Arizona. Here's the 0-1. Hernan Perez at the plate. Out of play. The Cardinals looking ahead to the 9th. And Jerko, Molina, and Martinez coming up. Perez acquired off of waivers by Doug Melvin back in 2015. From Venezuela, played the World Baseball Classic, and he said the greatest advice he's ever gotten is from a pretty good one, Miguel Cabrera. Those two very close. Even his stance is similar to that of Cabrera. His shallow right, catch made by Wong. First man retired. This is Jonathan VR, pinch hitter. Something happened there with Tom Hallion. Looked to be a strike. Something got into his eye. Needs help. Never made a strike call. Let's see what his pitch is. That's a strike. Something happened right at the very end there.
A piece of dirt off a glove or.
Molina is telling him that's a strike. Well, the scoreboard here at the ballpark has 0-2. I do think he reversed the first pitch to a strike. So we'll go with 0-2. VR is 0 for 3 in the series. 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter this side of the plate. And the 0-2. Changeup misses low and outside. 29 games since coming off the disabled list. We are hitting just .216, splitting time with Sogard at second base. Lefties hitting .348 against O, and that's the concern with any lefty that steps in the box. The 2-2. A story that has developed here as a positive for the Brewers. Without question, their bullpen in this series 9 1/3, only 4 hits. Two and two. 3-2 pitch, fouled back. Seen 8 pitches in this at bat. The sun becoming a factor at this ballpark. Ground ball that is fair. Carpenter to O. And safe.
I thought that was going to be an interesting outcome, the way that ball bounced into the corner down there, down that line. Carpenter's low feed made O slow down a little bit. We all know VR can run. He's a nice player. VR does a lot of things well. Good at bat right there. Little speed, steal you a base, play defense. I was actually quite surprised when we came into the building the first day and he wasn't in the lineup.
Here's Jet Bandy. Walked and struck out twice. VR with 20 stolen bases. He's been caught 7 times. Early May, Jet Bandy was off to a really good start, hitting nearly .330, and now the average has dipped to .217. Well, I mentioned the sun. Jimmy, you played at this ballpark a number of times. Day games, what happens is the sun is setting and then it starts to come through the glass paneling along the first base side, eventually makes its way towards home plate.
Casts itself an opposite of a shadow.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can get pretty bright. Makes it tough on the left fielder too. Line drives or middle, kind of the middle of the road fly ball.
Oh, 2. Not running, swung on and missed. And with that, there's 2 outs.
The location of the pitches right there. Slider at the end, way off the plate, obviously, but nibbling on that corner almost makes you have to go after some of those pitches like that are off the plate.
Brewers have struck out 12 times in this game. They have a 2-1 lead. So 2 outs, runner at first. Orlando Arcia. 2 for 3. The way that he steps sometimes, Jimmy, I correct me if I'm wrong, but a slider, he'd miss it by a foot from a right-hander.
I think he does that, guesses fastball in early and then slowly calms it down each pitch.
That last pitch,
that almost
no chance.
Almost looked like he fell down. Gosh.
Tough day at the office for Yadier Molina.
I don't like that he's turning his head. I'm wondering if he knows that he's doing that. That's something I've never seen him do before. when you turn your head like that, you can see just looking in how much of that opens up of your neck.
There's the 0-2. I bet he's done that today, Jimmy, even on balls that weren't foul tips, but I'd say 5, 6, 7 times.
And that is not normally him. That's what's really puzzling.
Yachty now at 807 innings caught this year. Ground ball hit to the right side. Wong gloves, ranging, and makes the play. Fine play again by Colton Wong. Jed Jerko is coming up for St. Louis. The final hope when we come back. Knable, Chevy called to the pen. 51st appearance here today. It's tied with Barnes for the team lead in that category. Manny Pena is the new catcher. Jed Bandy had really an odd swing. Watch this. Maybe his back locked up on him. Something not quite right. Yep. Then he struck out on a pitch he just waved at. His day is through. Knable his 19th save on Tuesday night. 86 strikeouts to 29 walks. And the first batter will be Jed Jerko. The first pitch. Those 86 strikeouts leads all relievers. He's recorded a strikeout 49 of his 50 appearances this year. That's an incredible mark. Popped up behind home plate.
Dan, you got to make a play on that.
No, sir. I knew it was above us. No big deal. Been so good, he broke the record held by Hall of Famer Bruce Sutter, who struck out a batter in 39 straight games, dating back to 1977. Knable did it 45 straight games. Jerko in the hole, 0-2. Cardinals, not a lot of offense the last 6 games, and here we are, another one-run game. Pitching has been there. The offense not to the level that I think we all expected coming out of spring training. One out, nobody on. Curveball taken high to Yadier Molina. Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Molina 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Cardinals are 3-3 in one-run games since the All-Star break, among the league leaders in one-run games all year. Chance to do some damage maybe here with this pitch. 3-2. Ground ball right side, base hit. Tying run is aboard. Now, do you think about pinch running here with a pitcher or DeYoung? Got to think about it, right? Yeah, there it is.
I mean, I would probably just go with the pitcher if it was me.
So Luke Weaver will pinch run for Yadier Molina. Carson Kelly, if we head to extras, would be your catcher. Molina on base twice today. Here's Jose Martinez. Strike one. Couple of walks today, 0 for 1.
That right side left open right there for Jose. Hard to do, but if you could just shoot the ball right in that hole, just keep the line moving.
Jimmy, the Cardinals this year have been involved in 29 one-run games. So just below 30% of the schedule has been a tight ball game one way or another. The 0-2.
Cut a break right there. He missed his location big time. Never really did like that fastball up and in. Some guys just can't do it, and so they're, one, afraid to throw it up there and hit someone, and two, if you can't do it and you're afraid, you end up throwing the ball down and down the middle.
Oh-2. Martinez with a fly ball. Shallow left. Weaver halfway. Catches man. Jesus Aguilar is our Budweiser player of the game. Third inning off of Michael Walker. This home run. A solo shot back in the third. Here's Piscotty.
Good breaking ball right there. Get me over for a strike. Not what he's looking for.
Steven 1 for 8 in the series. Cardinals down to their final strike. And one hit, a base hit off the man pitching now for the Brewers. One ball and 2 strikes. Two visits on the mound. Not one pitch thrown. Fans on their feet. Brewers trying to take 2 or 3. 1 strike away from doing it. The 2-2 pitch. Stephen Piscotty hoping, wanting, needing one of those signature moments. The 2-2.
Your catcher's doing a good job when he can catch a ball like that and it's that far out of the strike zone.
Garcia at the on-deck circle. 3-2 to Piscotty.
Pretty gutsy pitch in my opinion right there. 3-2 breaking ball. Ball 4. You got winning run on base and a lefty coming up. Wild pitch. You got first and third.
Great at bat by Piscotty. The tying run in scoring position. The potential go-ahead run at first base. What an at-bat. Ray Garcia tied the game with a single into center field back in inning number 5. Weaver is the runner at second base. He's hopping around trying to stay loose. to Garcia for ball one. Sunshine and the shadows definitely a factor now for the hitter.
Yeah, I'll start to play in. I was thinking to myself, it'd be nice to see a cloud come over right about now. Luke Weaver's got so much room out there. He's got to get a big lead and get a big secondary. That way he can score on anything.
The 1-0. Pick off towards second. He's back in safely. Just about to say, Manny Pena loves the pickoff at second base. Most of any catcher in baseball. And if you're Piscotty, especially the left-handed batter, you got to be careful too if Aguilar is cheating in.
I think that ball took a little shot off a few guys, but off of Luke's back. Welcome to the game. Still got to get that lead, though.
The 2-0. 2 balls, 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch. And again, the Cardinals down with their final strike. Pitch number 26 of the inning. The 2-2. Fly ball hit down the left field line and out of play. Garcia has a little pop, and the outfield is not very deep for him. As you know, in center, right center, left center, the wall jets out back there. Runner from first can score on a gapper.
They're playing swung way over to left field. His power is in right center field.
Exactly.
Even if he hits a line drive over the second baseman's head, that scores the runner from first easily.
It's another 2-2 pitch. Garcia shaking his head. Nope, that's up high. Good take again.
This one's got to be close. Still blows me away that the ball below the mask is still a ball.
Pitch number 28 of the inning. The next to Garcia. The 3-2. Seven pitch at bat. Garcia trying to extend the ball game to Paul DeYoung. Runners go. Strike out. Game over. The Brewers take 2 of 3.
That is some kind of big league pitch right there. Not what you're expecting. Got to tip your hat when you're the hitter. Tough to put that curveball in play off of that guy right there in those shadows.
Milwaukee has done something today they normally don't do, and that's win a series against the Cardinals at home. First series win at home against St. Louis since 2012. A called third strike of Greg Garcia. 2-1 the final. Another 1-run loss for the Cardinals. We're back at it again tomorrow night. Post-game show comes your way next.